Hello, welcome to my vlogs where I try to make art for the week. Whether it's comics, illustration, crochet, or learning a new hobby, let's get right into this week. Friday, February 20th. I'll admit that on this day I was still angry about the day before, but there wasn't much I could do for now, and so I spent most of the day running around with my niece. I took her to the park, and then we went back to my sister's place so she could play with the dirt in their backyard. After we washed her hands and I gave her food to eat, we went to Walmart to buy her kinetic sand since she was asking to go back to the backyard to play with the dirt. The kids next door have been coming over to play for the majority of the week, so every time they came over, she's been wanting to play outside with them, as well as my nephew. I've been having to supervise, so I haven't been able to really do much in between, but I did manage to draw one frame of my fan comic that I post on AO3. When my sister returned home, I went home and began recording and editing last week's video. I uploaded the video around 7:30 p.m. My little bro and I went out to help him practice driving. We drove to my sister's place and hung out for a few minutes before returning home. It was hard to sleep that night, however. In terms of art though, I did manage to draw just a tiny bit of one of my comics, but it was very, very little. Saturday, February 21st. My little brother and I woke up early this day to try and complete his application for our license, but when we got to the DMV, the lady told us we only needed to schedule a road test. It was confusing because it said online that we needed to complete the form in person before scheduling a road test, but we scheduled a road test anyway and drove to Walmart. It sucked because we woke up so early only to schedule a road test. We bought some food and went home. After taking a nap, I got myself ready for my sister's birthday at karaoke. We sang the night away and had quite a bit of food. When we returned home, I did my best to fall asleep, but I couldn't until 3 a.m. Unfortunately for this day, I didn't make anything. Sunday, February 22nd. I had to wake up at 7 a.m., but I pushed my alarm back to 7:30 a.m. I had to do some religious work that day, and my little brother helped until 10:30. After cleaning up everything, it was around 12 p.m. I think. After getting a quick bite to eat, I took a nap until 5 p.m. When I woke up, I began scripting this week's vlog up to this day. When I finished, I began sewing. I managed to sew the front parts onto the back and did one of the sleeves. While I was sewing, I was watching the 12 Kingdoms. This series is one of my oldest sister's favorites when she was still around. When I was younger, I didn't really like the art style, but as an adult, the art isn't bad at all. I don't know what kid me was thinking, but perhaps they preferred more cutesy styles than mature ones at the time. While the first episode wasn't all that great, I do think the episodes after it weren't so bad. I didn't quite understand the storyline as a kid, but I can see it speaking to me a lot more than before. I sewed until 11:30 p.m. and went to bed at 12 in the morning. However, I couldn't sleep until 2. Monday, February 23rd. I woke up early and sent my stepbro to work. When I got to my sister's place, I took the dog out to use the bathroom. It was extremely cold, so I didn't go out for a walk with him. When he finished, the first thing I did was eat and then sleep with the baby. When the baby woke up, I did my usual. Most of the time was spent playing, but in some time in between, I managed to draw a few panels for one of my fanfiction comics, but that was it. When I went home, my little bro and I drove to Walmart for practice, and when I got back, I did quite a bit of sewing while watching the 12 Kingdoms. Then I went to bed at 11 p.m. Tuesday, February 24th. I woke up at the usual time, around 6:50 a.m. and took my stepbro to work. After dropping him off, I went over to my sister's place to babysit. There isn't much to report other than it was the same as yesterday, except without the driving practice. I finished sewing the bottom of the shirt, but all that was left was the collar and sash. I began the sash, but I didn't complete it just yet. I remember I struggled to sleep that night, but I tried my best. I didn't knock out until 2 a.m. Wednesday, February 25th. On Wednesday, I woke up around 6 a.m. to take my stepbro to work. It was the usual, and I went over to my sister's place to babysit. When I got there, my sister told me the baby was already up, so I let the dog go out to use the bathroom, and we played for about an hour before we both got sleepy and knocked out for a quick nap. When we woke up, it was 12:50 p.m. After letting the dog go out to the bathroom, I made us tater tots to eat before playing together again. As usual, I'd be here until my sister came home. When I got back home, I began finishing up my sash. I began to turn it inside out before taking my little bro to go and practice driving. We drove for an hour, about 25 minutes to our destination and back, and when I returned, I learned how to do an invisible stitch after completely turning the sash inside out. It took all night, but when I got it, it was nice to see. I've never been really good at sewing, but I'm happy with the way it came out, even if I know it isn't the best. My project isn't done just yet though. I still have to do the collar of the shirt and sew the hem of the inner part of it. Unfortunately, I lost one of the pieces of the pattern for the neck area, but fortunately, there's a video on YouTube that shows what they did to sew for that part, so I'm just going to have to make a makeshift area for that part tomorrow. I decided to just sit back and relax a little bit after I finished my sash. It's been practically a whole week since last Thursday, which shook me, but I think I'm starting to get myself back on track. I felt like I haven't really had an hour to myself to just decompress and not worry for the longest while. I'm actually looking forward to cleaning my room this weekend, as it's cluttered with cloth scraps and trash, as well as everything thrown onto my desk. I was also considering streaming this weekend, but I'd have to see how I feel by then and if the shirt is completed by then too. The reason I need this shirt is for my religious practices, and I've been meaning to get it done for the longest time now. But this year is definitely going to be the year I want to hone in on my sewing skills. I think after I complete the shirt, I'll try to aim for using my sister's sewing machine. Anyway, I went to sleep late this day, around 1:30 in the morning. Thursday, February 26th. Just my usual morning routine. At this point, I think you should already know I'm waking up around 6 and dropping my stepper off at work before going to my sister's place. When I got there, the baby was already up, and so I had to play with her until she got sleepy, and we both took a nap until 2 p.m. When we woke up, we just played until all of her family members came home. When I got home, my little bro and I practiced driving in the rain. I began to cut the front-facing parts of the garment, but I spent most of my time playing copycat on Identity V. It was a nice break from everything going on with me. I finally went to sleep at 3 in the morning. While this week was productive with sewing, I'm at least closer to my goal of finishing this shirt for March 7th. All that's left is the front-facing parts and the hems. I won't lie, despite enjoying the process of making the shirt, I'll also admit that I've been getting frustrated from having to focus on it for a majority of this month. I'll say at most that yes, if I used a sewing machine, it'd go by faster. But you see, I tried to learn how to use a sewing machine before learning my basic hand stitches, and it intimidated me. So I decided I need to sew by hand until I felt alright enough to use a machine. I'm hoping for my next project I'll start using the machine, but for this one, I need to do it by hand before approaching a machine. If you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day/night wherever you are. I'll see you in the next one. Bye! I began to cut the front-facing farts